Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Today, we have the Queen on the show.
I'll be lucky.
The Queen. No, not the actual Queen, because, man, that would be a get, though,
That would be a massive get. We should work on that.
We should try and get the Queen on the show before she carks it. Anyway.
I like it.
Sorry.
The Brown Podcast.
I take that back. Please don't send me hate mail. I really don't want it. Look, welcome to the show. Thank you very much. I have always been immensely envious of your level of confidence.
See, that's interesting to me because, yes, I'm confident in certain arenas. So, like, yes, I'm comfortable in a group of people. Yes, I'm comfortable jumping out of a plane. But doing stuff like this podcast here, really makes me nervous.
Although, having said that, we were at dinner last night with our families and... this is going to sound wanky, but we had an espresso martini, right? And I tasted it and went, nah, it's burnt. There's something wrong with the coffee. And you've just literally gone, yeah, no, but just suck it up. Just drink it. Just drink it. Just drink it. It's fine. And I'm like, no, I'm not drinking this. We paid $20 for it. I'm going to send it back.
Yeah, no, that's very uncomfortable.
And I got the waiter over and you couldn't have been lower in your chair.
I wanted to just sink under the table. No, that's not good.
But man, the follow-up espresso martini was really, really good.
And I admire your conviction, your strength of your conviction to send it back, and then you got what you wanted in the end, is you got what you paid for. That's a crazy thing. See, I would have sucked it up and just drunk that crap, and just been really unhappy about it. Pissed the waiter off. They put some spit in there.
I hate to see what he rubbed around the rim of the glass.
Yes.
All right, our guest today is a lady by the name of the Queen of Confidence.
I'm so excited to get into this one because I think there's going to be some gold.
Her life story is just nothing short of incredible, and that's why we've got her on the show today. Her name is Erika Cramer. Erika, hello.
Welcome.
Hello. I'm so happy to be here. What is good?
We are happy to have you here because you have one of the most... out of all the people I've ever met, have one of the most incredible backstories to your life and how you have turned it all around to become, I guess, for want of a better term, this piece of fabulousness.
Oh, that's lovely.
That is really nice. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
and I wanted to know, I don't even know where to start with your life. And I know you're an open book on this because you've discussed it, but where do we even begin to tell the Erika Cramer story?
What a hot mess express, isn't it? It's a whole bunch of crap. You know where I start? I'm like, my life is perfect right now and everything's amazing. I just need a six-pack. But it wasn't this way. Honestly, I think I start with how amazing it is now, because I think when you're a public figure or you have an Instagram or you're out there trying to make a name for yourself, people unfortunately do judge a book by its cover. They see you calling yourself the Queen of Confidence. Oh my gosh, this woman must just walk around feeling confident all the time. And so I kind of like that I go from the now, and then when I talk about the story, it's like, oh shit, okay, we're here, we're listening. So it's really difficult because I had this problem as well. And I tell my clients to tell their stories. And it's like, how do you start by telling your story? And I think just one of the things that for me stands out the most, the biggest thing is how I grew up. You know, I'm obviously have an American accent.
Yes.
Or is it American? I don't even know now. It's all weird.
It's a hybrid.
Yeah.
It's a hybrid between Aussie and American now.
Because I just say, yeah. And that's not American. We're like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, singing.
Yeah, and then when something goes right, you go, fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah, mate.
Fuck yeah, y'all. You know, it's just all mixed up. So yeah, I really start usually with my childhood, like growing up in Boston in America to a single mother who was bipolar and being a mom, and you guys have kids, and you know, like how difficult it is to raise children, never mind on your own, never mind with a mental illness. Like, holy crap. So I really start there. I guess like grew up in Boston to a single mom, and dealing with her moments of manic and depression and the physical abuse and the foster care and the police and the, you know, it starts there. So, yeah.
So, like, I grew up in a family where my mother was depressive, and one of my first memories is her crying, sitting at the table going, it's not you, it's me.
Wow.
But I couldn't imagine then adding bipolar, being a single mother on top of that, And then you also mentioned there the foster system. Were you put into foster care?
Yeah, so it's so funny when you go back to your memories and you're like, I can't remember much about my childhood. I did a lot of therapy as a kid because obviously I think the system was like, this kid's going to be a hot mess. We need to put her into, and so I think that's why I'm such a good communicator because I just talk to strangers all the time about like personal stuff while I was coloring and drinking apple juice from a box, So I'm like, of course I was going to be a freaking speaker and a coach, right? So I think one of the first memories I do have being in a foster home, I was 2.5 years old and I remember being on some stairs and it's a very blurry, but that foster home I was in had a child who had a disability. Yeah. And they were such a lovely home. Like they were so lovely. They had heaps of different kids there. And I remember that. And then my next memory is when I'm like 3.5 and I'm sleeping and my mom walks in while I'm asleep. I'm knocked out. It's like 2 a.m. And she jumps on me and starts slapping me in the mouth, like really hard. What? And I'm bleeding and I'm like crying. And I'm just like, I have no idea what's going on. And she's just screaming and I don't know what's happening. And obviously police come, I get taken away. And one of my lips, you can't see this, but you should definitely go on Instagram and see. One of my lips is bigger than the other. And it's because of, I literally did damage as a 3-year-old to my lip. It's just, I don't know, like and that's my memory of like, I didn't do anything, but I'm sleeping and I'm awakened to being abused, like hit, and blood's coming in. It's like police come and now I'm in a foster home. Now, I don't remember all the detail, but now having children, and me and my mother, by the way, everyone, she's fucking amazing. She's my hero. I can't imagine doing what she did. And she always fought for me, but she wasn't well. Yeah. And so there's no one there to protect this kid. And the neighbors call the police. So the police come, arrest her, take me away. It's a big drama. And really, it's so terrible because back then, and I think even now, you guys talk about this, I'm sure, with mental health, there is no support or people don't talk about it. It's always like, your mom is horrible or how horrible. It's like, what is that woman going through? What is she seeing? Because she would see things,
Yeah.
I remember that my mother went to see the doctor and the doctor basically said, you're what was it? You're a neurotic housewife was what she was deemed at the time. Yeah. And this is going back a long while. And they said, you need to go and see a psychiatrist because you're messed up. And so she ended up having to go to a psychiatrist who basically said, you're a neurotic housewife and you don't know why you're feeling this and neither do we. You're just crazy.
Wow.
But it's like if you've got a broken leg, you can see it so it can get fixed. But with the mental illness, you can't see it. So it's not as visible or as in people's faces as much. Yeah. So that's why it gets buried under the rug because it's not so visible.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And then like, how do you help? So it's like, you don't know. And I think at an early age, like your mom said to you, it's not you. Because we know that kids, I coach women and about their traumas in their childhood. And kids always go, oh, my parents are divorcing or they're fighting. It has to be me. We're so narcissistic as children, not on purpose. We just don't know. It's all about us. So, of course, the kid's like, is it my fault? So, I can see that, how your mom would go, hey, it's not you. And how beautiful her awareness, because I think I know our parents do the best they can with what they know. But it's like, who's helping them? So, so it was a really that. And then the 5-year-old memory comes in where I'm in foster care. I was watching cartoons and my mom came in and started yelling and hitting me. And again, the police came into my house and I was 5. And as a 5-year-old, I probably felt like I was 14 at that age because I was not like a normal 5-year-old. I was like, this police is taking my mom, and they were really physically abusive to my mom. And this one cop in specific who was with us a lot because my mom every year got sick. Every year, twice a year, I was in a foster home. She was in a mental hospital from 2 years old till 16. So it was like they knew us. They knew we lived on the block. They knew who we were, like the crazy lady from 2nd Street, And so he came in, and I remember being this fiery 5-year-old who started saying bad words and swearing and like kicking the cops. So they put handcuffs on my mom's hands and feet because she was, really manic. And they put handcuffs on my hands and feet, and they threw us in the back of a police car, me and my mom. And I'm 5 years old. It's That's like, crazy. What does that teach me? And still till this day, I don't really trust police. No offense to anybody who's listening who's a cop. Like, I'm sure you're lovely. But my whole trauma around authority, police officers, like, oh my gosh, that was just next level.
I wonder if there's more education now for the cops in those situations. It's to think they did that to a 5-year-old just blows my mind.
I know. I was fiery.
As a 5-year-old, though, were you sitting there going, woohoo, back a cop car, or were you scared?
Like, F you. F you assholes. I was crying. I was really sad and upset, and I always think I was angry. But when you really, that's grown-up Erika thinks that 5-year-old Erika was angry. Yeah. Little Erika was sad and confused and trying to protect her mom. I was really a protector of my mom, always. I always felt like I had to protect her. And even though, and this is the sad thing, you could get beat up by your parent, like physically beat up. And 5 minutes later, you could be like, hey, baby. And they're like, hey, mom, I love you. Hey, dad, I love you. Like, wow, like the naiveness and the beauty of children and how we're so naive, it's pure love as a kid. So and then I went to a foster home at that age. And then there was a guy who, this foster home wasn't my favorite. I've been there. I had to go there a few times in my time, and they had other kids there, but they were not like handicapped kids, which mattered because the handicapped kids had different parents that looked after them. They were more, the foster care was more softer and kinder and calmer. This other foster home I went to had just older kids. And one of the kids who was a biological son was 17 and I was 5, and I was sexually abused by this guy, and he is 17 and I'm 5 years old. And it's such a crazy moment because I'm 5 and I'm learning that my job is to be of service sexually to someone. Holy crap. Now as a coach, it's fucked up, right? And as a coach now, and I can talk about it freely because I've done so much work on it, but as a coach now, it's like I learned back then that I'm only worthy if I'm helping people. And if I'm not careful, you guys, with my job now, I can become this savior, rescuer, helper, because my whole life at 5 years old, my imprint was, you are worthy to be of service. And how crazy. It was like, I didn't even see that. Yeah. I didn't even see that, tie.
Correlation,
Yeah, I didn't see that relation until later because I was burning out and trying to help all the people during COVID. I'm like, let's help everyone. And I'm like, oh, actually, I'm also experiencing the pandemic. I also have 2 kids. I'm also drinking gin and having carbs. Maybe I should look after myself.
So that was 5 years of age. Now, when did life did it ever settle down for a relatively normal childhood, or was it always like that?
Nah, there was no relatively normal anything. It was literally, when I tell you, every year my mom, maybe your mom as well, or anybody listening that has parents that had mental health issues, around the holidays and the summer is when my mom would get sick. So it'd be like Christmas time and summer. So it literally, every holiday season or every summer, she would get sick because she would feel good. Then she would stop taking her pills. Yeah. Like you feel good. She would gain weight because these pills, my mom was on 15 pills a day. 15.
Wow.
Like psychotic pill. Like this is full on, And again, what you said, Dion, the doctors just go, all right, here you go. Take this pill, take this thing. Like maybe that's not, or they're experimenting with her, which is even worse because then she's not okay. So nothing really got normal. But I remember when I was 7, my mom went on a vacation with her boyfriend that she had, and we went to Puerto Rico. My dad left when I was 2. I didn't know him. My mom never spoke bad about my dad. She was one of those women that just didn't do that. And I think it was a good thing. Although I still thought he was an a-hole. And I was like, I hate him. I can't believe he left me. Because as a kid, I didn't have a dad. And I thought that it was my fault, again. Yeah. So we went to Puerto Rico. My mom got into a fight with her boyfriend and didn't take enough medication on this holiday, on this vacation. And so she's driving in this terrible rain in this area we'd never been to. I had never remembered going to where I'm from, which is in the Caribbean. And we're driving in the rain and she thinks someone's chasing us and they're going to rape us. That was her thought process. And now she's had trauma in her life, clearly, for her to still have that PTSD. Yeah. So we smashed into a tree, flipped the car 3 times, and literally behind the tree was this cliff with like a river. Like, thank goodness for that tree, because we would have been like, that's it. So it's crazy. And we ended up getting out of the car and walking for 3 days because she was too scared to ask for help because she thought, again, someone would do something to us. It's just like that's 7 years old. So this kid, this little girl, was really realizing that I need to be vigilant. I'm a grown up. I need to pay attention. I'm responsible. Like the goodness of it was that, but the bad was like, who's looking after us here, Yeah.
So you almost had to be the parental figure.
Yeah. And that gets tricky when you're 20, when you're 30, because your mom's like, who do you think you are? I'm the mom. And I'm like, my whole life I've been the mom, even though you don't know that, because they don't remember, right? Your parents don't remember the bullshit that you went through. And they think when you attack them or you say that you're attacking them. So for a long time, I had a lot of patching up to do with my mom because I would just go, oh no, she did the best she could. It wasn't her fault. And one of my therapists said to me, that's true. But also, are you acknowledging how messed up that is for a 5-year-old, for a 3-year-old, for a 7-year-old, for a 16-year-old? Like, who's acknowledging your feelings? And I actually, for that one time, felt like someone saw me and it was okay to feel angry and sad for that little girl who didn't have what, you know, her childhood, or didn't have a safe space, or didn't have any of that. And then being able to be with that, but also not condemn my mom and really truly do the work on myself so that I could compassionately see her. It completely changed everything. So, I mean, it's multiple layers, right? It's crazy.
And I want to circle back to these manic episodes your mum would have.
Yeah.
Were there signs going into it that an episode was about to happen? Like, was there a lead up days before where you could see the signs that something's going to happen soon, and were you on edge leading into that?
Yeah, I think when I was 7 in Puerto Rico and I realized I feel like 7, I was like, I'm 20. I was like, I felt like I started to pay attention, and I took for granted my mom being well. I took for granted. I didn't know. I was very present. Kids are so present. Then at 7, when that thing happened in Puerto Rico, my dad kidnapped me. I lived there for a year. I really grew up. Like, my dad took me from my mom. My mom went back to Boston and she had to fight for me to get back home. I was 8 years old, and that's when I realized, Dion, I was like, you know what? I can see when she starts to get too happy and hype and fast and paranoid. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's really paranoid right now. And I'm like, oh no, she's going to get sick. And I knew. I was like, okay. So at 8 years old is when I could tell. It would take 3 days off the meds for her to be really unwell and police to come and shit to hit the fan. Wow. And then when she would come home from the hospital and I would come home from the foster care, she'd be really happy, like really extra happy. And I started to notice, oh, that's just the medication. She's going to come back down and be normal. And I would mourn the normal and go, when is she going to get sick? Is she going to get sick? Shit. Like, so it was a bit of hypervigilance.
Yeah, I bet.
By 8 years old. That's probably when I realized it.
Okay, makes sense.
So you just said your father kidnapped you.
What?
Yeah. Really? Yeah.
Okay,
I know.
Okay, let's go there.
So you were in Puerto Rico, obviously, to see your father, or your mother wanted to know?
No, I didn't even know him. I was the kid scratching photos of his face, and she's like, don't do that. You have a father. I'm like, whatever. And now I'm 7. We're in Puerto Rico. She gets sick. We crash. We're walking 3 days and 3 nights, sleeping in bushes, and finally find the police. And the police are like, what happened? And she runs from the police, and we hid in someone's shower. We paid a lady $20 to hide in her shower. We end up in this house that's my mom's sister, like not her sister, but like a lady who she grew up with that was like a sister, because my mom was given away as a kid as well, which is crazy. So we stay in this lady's house, and my mom goes to the shops, and this lady's like, Erika's sleeping. And my mom's like, Erika, and I can hear her out there, and a hand goes over my mouth, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? My mom leaves, and the door opens, and my dad walks in, and I'm like, this is the man from my photos that I'm scratching his face. And I'm like, F you, screw you, like swearing at him as well, this fiery 7-year-old, and in English, because he's speaking only Spanish. And he takes me. He's like, I'm going to take you. So in his 20 years later, I saw my dad. On 2020, I saw my dad and my mom. I brought him to Australia. There's a whole video on my website about the reunion. It was fucking so emotional because I hadn't seen my dad. Like, it makes me emotional now because I'm like, oh my God, like 20 years. I hadn't seen him and I didn't know him. And I never had my mom and dad in the same room, and they were in Australia. I paid them a ticket to come to Australia. My mom didn't know he was coming. And we healed this whole story. And he told me his story. At the time, he kidnapped me. In his eyes, he heard that we were there and that we crashed and that my mom was sick. And he's like, I need to rescue my daughter from this woman who's sick. So that was his story, but I didn't know that until 20 years later. So anyway, he took me a year in Puerto Rico, and I flew back. Finally, he let me be back with my mom, who I wanted to be with. I didn't want to be with anybody but my mom. And I was back with her. So that was when you're asking, Dion, I was home. I was 8 years old. I had lived through that whole experience. And now I'm home, and my mom, I can tell when she wasn't well. And I could kind of gauge, all right, this is going to happen. And it wasn't until probably when I was 16 that I realized, okay, I'm going to be here. I'm going to go to the bank. The bank knew me. I knew how to pay bills and do money orders. I knew how to pay our everything. Like, the bank knew me. They were like, Margie's daughter? Okay, here. Because they knew she would be in the hospital. So I was really able to look after myself. And then at 16, I was like, I'm not going into any more foster homes. Like, I'm done. I'm staying home. I'm telling my social security, whatever lady, that I have an 18-year-old caregiver. My cousin vouched for me, and I just stayed home. And I was a good kid. I went to school, did what I did. I mean, I didn't do well in school, but that was probably like my adult kind of moment at 16.
Well, the fact you kept turning up to school even through all that mess.
I didn't always. I had a guy come, Mr. Marshall would knock on my door and be like, come on. And I'm like, all right,
Mr. Marshall.
Yeah, I barely graduated. yeah.
Okay, so that is childhood.
Yeah.
Where do we go next? Because there are like I said, there's just so many layers to your life that has made you the person you are now.
Yeah.
I'd rather hand it to you because I know your story.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to go. Do you have a chronological order of your life that you go, this is how I tell my story?
Well, I try to, because there are big points, and then there's obviously little detail that I told your wife, Sarah, because Sarah and I wrote the book together. And it's like, I told your wife, I can't write that storybook, that autobiography, because there's so much detail that is not told that I do feel like would be a freaking awesome lifetime movie or something.
Well, it is a movie.
I was going to say, when's a movie being released?
I really, and you know what? It's crazy because it's like, I'm so grateful of this life, even though it was horrible at the time, because I really do have the street cred to go, listen, it doesn't matter how messed up you think you are, how much shit you went through, you actually can heal your life and create what you want. Like, I have a perfect life right now, besides my six pack, okay? Perfect life, except my JLo body is not here, but that's okay. Literally perfect husband. I make money. I love my life. I'm in Australia, like everything. So it's like, what? Like, how did that even happen? And that's what excites me about it. So I guess if we take it from here, at 16, at 9 years old, when I came back, my mom had a boyfriend. He sexually abused me. That was horrible. But I told my mom, because she created this atmosphere where we had beautiful communication. So I'm telling the horrible stuff. What I'm not telling you is that my mom fought for her daughter so much that every foster home I went into, she walked there, because she didn't have a car for a long time. Her license got taken away. She would walk 2-3 hours to come and visit me. And she would never give up. They were like, we're going to adopt her. She's like, no, you're not. Fighting for me. So
that's cool.
You know what I'm saying? It's like determination and fight. Like, I was her world, and I still am. I'm, only child, and she's not married. So I will say that I get my determination and my fight from my mom. And that's the number one quality I think I have, is that I don't give up. And so I would have never had that without her. And so, I think 16, if we go to 16, I was in high school. Again, like almost not graduating. I don't know why I didn't do drugs. I had crazy friends. I had all kinds of different groups that I hung out in. And I think the foster care helped me be the drama, the nerd, the ghetto girl, the preppy girl. Like, I was literally everything you can imagine in high school. I fit into all of those roles. I played this like acting show. I don't know what it was, trying to figure out myself.
You're probably used to being able to adapt.
Yeah, it was like an adaptability. I love community. Like, I literally would love a cult. Like, I'm such a cult person because I'm like, I love community. Like, I'm pretty sure like I'm easy to get into a cult person.
She's got a purple Nikes on at the moment.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my gosh. And it's because of that, right? So there was beautiful things to it. So I'm 16. I'm in my high school. I got my high school sweetheart. In my cafeteria, because we have cafeterias in America. The military comes. The army's there, and they're set up. And I see this stand in the army, and I'm like, I'm going to join the army, because it said 4 years free of any state college or university. I thought I was going to school for marketing. I do marketing now. That's called Instagram. Anyway, I thought I was going to do that. And I'm like, I don't have good grades. My mom's broke. Like, we were on welfare and food stamps. Okay. Like, we had no money, nothing. So I'm like, I'm going to join the army. And my friends looked at me like, are you crazy? You're going to break a nail. You're not going to do this. So I was like, I'm doing it. So I signed up to the military.
Wow.
And at 17 years old, like my high school sweetheart, Giovanni, he went to the Marine Corps, and I went to the U.S. Army. My boot camp experience was my high school. Most kids go on this high school, whatever. What do you guys call it in Australia?
School camp or something?
Yes,
school
like
camp.
The schoolies, and you go party, like, at the end of high school. And I'm like, boot camp, I'm like, boot camp. So I went to boot camp, 9/11, halfway through boot camp, 1 month in, 9/11 towers get hit. And they're like, this shit is serious. You're going to war. And I'm like, I joined for college money. Like, what is this? So like, we're there learning about war. My boyfriend at the time is about to get drafted to Kuwait. And I come out of the military and I'm like, I'm going to California. So I moved across the country from Boston to California to really move away. And my mom got really unwell. Like, she wasn't well. It was the first time I left, like purposefully left. But I think subconsciously the military was me seeking structure. The moving away was me seeking some freedom from my
chaos.
terrible life. Yeah, like, fuck, that's dirty. I'm broken, I'm damaged. Something's wrong with me. I need to get away from that and move over here. So long story short, we ended up getting married in secret. Gio joined the Marines. He was going to Iraq. Like, our generation, I was born in 83. We didn't know anything about war. So it's not like we knew what was going to happen. So we got married secretly. He went to war, came back. And when he came back, I just kind of did nothing. I just waited for him. I was like an army wife, you know? Moved to Florida so he could go to school. I paused everything. I joined the military full time, and I was going to hair school at night. So this boyfriend of mine, or husband of mine, has come from the war, literally full on war, and now is in school for music. He wanted to do producing. I was in the military full time and then doing hair school at night. And then one night we went out drinking and driving. Horrible idea, but young people in America, this is what they do, unfortunately. And we ended up in a really bad car accident where I broke my back and had to be in the hospital for 30 days and fused my backbone and metal in my back. And
holy crap,
it was horrible. I didn't have a seatbelt on. I think that whole part of my life was me giving my life to him and going, you do what you want. I'll just be a bystander and let you live and you do your thing. Kind of this sacrificial thing of like, I don't matter. I'll just, because you went to war, that's more important, you know? And that was a big wake up call, breaking my back and being in the hospital, like permanently attached to a morphine pump, had to learn how to walk again, was using a walker. It was horrible. And it was a little bit of a wake up call, like, shit, what are you doing with your life, Erika? You know? And then the following year I started modeling. I really want to be an actress. I still do, or a producer or director or something like that. I love film. And I was like, I'm going to go off and do this acting and thing. And I lived in Florida. So Miami was down the road, you know, it was 3 hours away. Started doing like music videos with Pitbull and these like Spanish reggaeton artists. And it was awesome. And I'm in the military 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. I'm doing calendar bikini shit on the weekends and I'm at hair school. Gemini over here. And selling my magazines and calendars to the military people in my unit. It was hilarious. I'm sure that's breaking the military code. But anyway, and one night we were having a party at our house. This was the next year after I broke my back. And I went to bed because I had to go to the military one weekend a month. And my husband ended up leaving and I didn't know. So when I woke up in the morning to go to my 1 weekend a month weekend army thing, he wasn't home. But like, you can't be late to the army. So I was like, I have to go. Somebody find him, call me. Long story short, we realized that he left at like 12 or 1 a.m. He was drinking and driving, which we never did because the last year we almost killed ourselves. Yeah. So it was really strange. He didn't have a seatbelt on. Again, something we never did again. And he ended up passing away in a car accident. Yeah, and we were married for 5 years married. No one knew, in secret. And 7 years together. Since I was 16, I'm 23. And my husband just died. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, that was the big... holy shit, like, I'm done. Like, does God hate me? Like, I'm leaving. Like, I can't handle this. That was kind of the big moment of everything.
This is the Brown Park Podcast. Now, a word from our sponsors. This is the Brown Park Podcast with Christo and Dion. Now back to the show.
I don't want to recap, but by the age of 23... you'd been in and out of foster homes all your life from the age of 5. I hate to say it, but sexually abused on multiple occasions by multiple people. And then on top of that, broken your spine, learnt to walk again, and lost your husband. How are you here? How are you this happy person that I know?
Yeah, this positive person that helps other people.
Wearing a green
with
jacket
confidence.
and a cheetah print hat. Yeah.
Right? How?
Yeah. I mean, if we look at it, it's literally 26 minutes, and I've just told you most of that. There's still more, right? But most of that in 26 minutes. How do I even talk about it in such a free, open book kind of way.
That's how without being a complete case.
Yeah. So the crazy answer that none of us know is I do feel there's something there that was never going to let me fall down and drop. Something greater than me, God, Spirit, Buddha, Allah, Oprah, whoever you believe in.
It's like a life force that surrounds you.
Seriously, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I think there is definitely something that wasn't, I feel that this was meant to happen so that I could become who I am now, after doing all the work. But the short answer, I should be on drugs. I should be homeless. I should be pregnant to multiple different men. I should be on the streets, alcoholic. I was kind of alcoholic for a little while after he died. I should not be here. I should not be okay. I should not be making any money. I shouldn't be. It's not possible kind of thing. So the answer honestly is when you went through all this stuff and you realize that there's areas of your life that you're not getting what you want and you're miserable or unhappy, or relationships or money or body or any part of your life, there's an invitation to look at it. There's an invitation to open the box and check it out. And most of us put the mask on and go, nah, I'm okay. I'm fine. Everything's great. My life is awesome. And I'm like, it's not, because your bank account's empty, because you hate your husband, because you hate your body, because you keep attracting narcissist. Like, your life is your experience. And if you look at your life and anything that's fucked up, it's because of other stuff. And if you refuse to look at it, you can't have this other happy ending part. You can't, or this happy middle part, So the short answer is I spent a lot of money on credit cards that I didn't have in Australia to work on myself. I went to all kinds of shit. I devoted myself to looking at the dark, ugly, yucky parts. I cried a lot. Ugly cry, snot cry. And I don't say that I'm healed, because no one heals. Like, we are healing. We're unraveling ourselves so that we can see the truth in our fucked upness, But he passed away, and I literally was like, oh no. My trauma must have jumped in to protect me and go, that didn't happen. Like, insane moment of Control Alt Delete. Nah, can't deal with that. It's too big. It's too messed up. And I actually don't have anything in me to deal with that. So I drank my ass off. I drank and drove. I'm not proudly saying that, but I did. I just numbed out for 3 years, you guys. I
don't think anybody would regret you from doing that.
That's completely understandable.
I was just I don't even know. It was so funny. All the other stuff was okay. But that was like, oh, this is not okay. Like, I can't handle this. Like, I'd never had anyone die in my life. And then the first person who dies is my husband. Like, I'd never had a grandma die or anyone. Yeah. And I'm like, oh shit. And I had to it was full on. The details are in the book, but it was a full on experience, what had to happen with his death and his morgue and his body and all that. I talk about it in the book, and on my podcast, I have an episode about it, and it's full on. So trigger warning, right? This whole episode is a trigger warning. And then that happened, and I ended up just going, I'm going to go hardcore into my modeling. I'm going to do my hair stuff. And I went to Las Vegas for a conference, and it is a crazy place to go, right?
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you're all messed up as well. So I went Vegas, doing all the bad things you do in Vegas. And I was actually, I will say, a good kid. Like, I didn't do drugs. I didn't have sex with random people. I didn't have sex till I was 18, and I married that guy. It was Gio. So I was actually, I don't know how the hell, that's a better question. How did you not get drunk and do these high school football parties?
That's it.
I mean, honestly, I don't know. That was something else that protected me.
I was going to say, I think it's probably your own internals protecting you from, because you'd had it forced upon you. It was like, no, now I'm going to make that decision.
Yeah, I had to be responsible. I definitely had a responsible situation going on, like paying bills and doing all that. So I'm in Las Vegas, and a $10 Australian note catches my eye. This man at a bar, and he's like, I'm like, what the hell is that? American people don't know shit about travel, okay? If you're American, you know what I'm talking about. We don't know where accents are from. I'm like, are you from the UK? And he's like, Australian. And there's a $10 note, and I'm like, is that your money? And so we started this conversation. Now, I'm drunk most of the time there. He was lovely-ish, seeming nice. I was a woman who, air quotes, in my own words, was broken, damaged, messed up, condemned. Something's wrong with me. Who's going to want me? I'm a piece of shit kind of person in my head, right?
Yeah.
And God hates me. That's what I'm thinking. So this guy, who is on surface level nice at the time, ends up being a narcissist and is actually not nice and verbally abusive. I fall in love with him. He comes to visit me in Florida, And then I moved to Australia. I'm like, I'm leaving. I'm selling everything in America and I'm going to Australia. My friends didn't like him. My mom didn't like him. I'm like, I'm leaving. This is my ticket out. And none of my bad shit will follow me to Australia, because where the hell's Australia? Who knows? Right? I didn't even know where it was. And I came to Australia. And then I'm here for a year with this guy. And 11 months into it, I finally go, I can't. Like, this guy, like, bless your soul, dude. But I mean, I'm happy that I came because of him, but also it was the worst. I was in such a lack. I thought I was a piece of shit. I was so hurt and so damaged that I attracted someone who proved to me how much of a piece of shit and unworthy I was. So let me be clear. I attracted this person because I already believed that about myself.
Yeah.
That's how we attract these people. They don't just come up because you're unlucky. You're doing something to put out those vibes of, hey, narcissist asshole vibes, come my way. So I'm in here, doesn't work out. And I remember saying to my mother, she's like my mom, my army mom. I'm like, I can't leave Australia. Every time I see a boomerang and a kangaroo, I'm going to think about this failed relationship. Like, I can't leave Australia. And I moved from basically Miami to Mount Druitt.
No, yeah.
Shout out Mount Druitt. Okay, there was an SBS special about Mount Druitt. I moved from Miami to Mount Druitt. Like, that's a bad TV show.
It really is.
Or a really bad rap song.
That's true. And we're gonna do that cover. Let's do it. You know.
Yeah.
So I'm in, and then I'm like, nah, I'm leaving. So I found another job, moved to Paddington, found a roommate, lived in Australia. Amazing. Met another guy from Melbourne, moved to Melbourne. Losers are us. I moved to freaking Australia for this man. Then I moved to Melbourne for another man. Basically, same guy, different face. Okay. Same shit, different face. This guy's an asshole, dumps me on my birthday. I'm at a gym. Yeah, on my birthday. Okay. And he's like, you need to become Princess Jasmine. You need to delete all your photos off of Google of you in bikinis and music videos. You need to delete your life, basically, and be good and look like a good girl so that I can introduce you to my family. And I'm like, okay. I'm trying to delete. Good luck trying to delete.
So you were doing it?
Google. Oh, no, I did it. I was doing it. I got a whole folder of like me trying to delete shit and email photographers. And because I was so in my head, when you're broken in yourself, you think you actually are a piece of shit and everybody's right. Yeah. And you have to fix yourself. And I didn't know about doing the work and healing. I didn't know any of that shit, what that meant, right? So I'm with this guy. He dumps me. I'm going to a gym, Fitness First, here in Australia. And my personal trainer, Hamish, is a lovely dude, but I barely see him. He's just my personal trainer. He looks Indian. He's Sri Lankan. I don't know. I'm like, cool, this guy's nice, whatever. Barely talking to him, right? This is my husband now, everybody, with 2 kids, and he's love of my life.
I was smiling, trying not to say anything, because I was like, oh my God, that's the story.
Yeah, I couldn't even see him. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Like, his eyes weren't visible to me. He was just a personal trainer that I needed. Now, my personal trainer, 3 weeks before I came to the gym in May, 3 weeks before, with his coach, had this vision of a woman with black hair who spoke another language, and she was going to come, and that's who he wanted, because he had went through a really bad breakup recently. And I walk into the gym and I'm like, hi. And he's like, oh, hello. Cool. And I had a broken back and he was a rehab trainer. So it's important to niche people. Okay. So this is how you find love. So he's a rehab trainer. So I wouldn't have got anybody else but him because of my broken back. So I meet Hamish. I'm like, cool, let's do this training together. And he calls his coach and goes, you wouldn't believe it. The woman from my vision just walked into the gym. I know it's not her, obviously, because I can't have her, but I know what I want. When I start to look for someone, that's what I want. And his coach goes, it's her. And he's like, no, she's got a boyfriend. She's like, what are you talking about? It's not her. She's like, listen, trust me, there's energy there. I bet you it's her. She's like a spiritual coach, whatever, you can believe it or not.
Yeah, because your husband is spiritual.
Yeah,
and I've got goosebumps, by the way, when you're telling this story.
Yeah, so she's like this coach who's also a clairvoyant. And I'm like, what the fuck is a clairvoyant? Like, do I have to have like a rosary when I go in to talk to you? You're like a devil witch person? Because I literally was American. I didn't know any of that. Like, my mom's Christian. So I'm like, oh no, what are we doing here? Anyway, Hamish goes, yep, let's train. This guy breaks up with me, and I see Hamish at the food court in Doncaster Shopping Center, and I'm crying, and he's like, are you all right? I'm like, I'm okay. So-and-so broke up with me, but anyway, I just need more training sessions with you so I can get my head off of, like, literally, I was like, I'm going to work out more. I'm going to become sexy. I'm going to work on myself. Any single women know what I'm talking about. When you get dumped, you just go, I'm going to go to the gym and be hot again, to like make yourself feel good. So Hamish is like internally smiling, like, yes, her boyfriend's broken up with her. She is single. Maybe it is her in his head, right?
Yeah.
So professional. I didn't know. We ended up becoming friends. I had no friends in Melbourne. He invited me to a birthday party. Then he invited me out with another friend. Never showed me that he liked me. I was like, this guy's awesome. finally I was like, I like him. We went out dancing one night and his coach is like, if you don't tell her tonight, you're going to lose her, because he was going to Brazil for 4 weeks that weekend. So he's like, I just have to tell you, I can't be your PT anymore. I really like you. And I'm like, oh my God, I like you too, whatever. And literally in that moment, it was like, I don't even know how the 3 days passed. I don't even know what the days happened. It was like soul freaking mate extreme. Yeah. He went to Brazil, came back, moved in. By then we got married, had babies, and we've been together now 10 years, and he's fucking incredible. He introduced me to coaching and journaling and doing this work. And I was just like, you don't think I'm a piece of shit when I tell you my story? He's like, you're amazing. That's amazing. You should never delete those photos off Google. That's so beautiful. He accepted every part of me. And I was like, whoa. That was where the work started, when I could see someone didn't think I was a piece of shit.
Amazing.
Do you ever sit there when you told the story and just go, Jesus Christ?
No, I'm like, how many minutes can I tell it? No, it's crazy. That's crazy. And then we got married. We're together. We're meant to have a wedding in Puerto Rico, and I'm pregnant. And I'm like, shit. So when having a baby, so we ended up saving $80K. Thank you, baby. Number one. We ended up joining a business cult. Anyway, that's a whole other podcast, but we ended up joining a cult for 2 years. We didn't know it was a cult. It was messed up. Got out of that. And then have our second baby. We reached the worst point because we had spent all this money to develop ourselves, like coaches and healers and retreats, on credit cards, on, financing. So we had $150K of debt. We had a second baby. We moved out on our own. We bought a Tiguan SUV. And his gym is dying because he had a gym. He had owned his own gym. The gym is Christmas and we have no money. Literally, we're looking for coins to buy bread in our car. And we're like, what are we doing? We're like in our 30s and we have no money. We have 2 kids. We're losers. And we know better because we've already paid all the mentors.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not going back to work after this baby. I'm not going back to work. I'm going to start my coaching business. And in 2018, I was like, I'm not doing it. We're going to find a way. I listened to Gary Vee. I started Instagram. Yeah. I started my podcast in my car. And that first year, we made $160K in the business, cleared all of our debt. The following year, we made $554,000 in my business. Me, Puerto Rican girl from the hood, doesn't know shit, didn't go to college, thinks she's a piece of shit. And I created that from helping women who had the same story as me in my business. And it's like, what?
I've seen the way you command a crowd with your story, and it's insane.
Yeah. I think it's important to talk about it because then people don't think lucky you. It's like, no, unlucky me doing the work me. You can do the work too and fix it. But most of us don't want to because we don't want to go there. It sucks, by the way. It feels like shit to talk about the messed up stuff you went through. It's not sexy or fun or Instagrammable, but how incredible to mine the gold from those messed up moments and pull the gems and the diamonds out. And with those gems and diamonds, you create your life. You don't get to do that unless you go back and mine that. And it's just a horrible thing that happened to you. What a waste of space. What a waste of trauma that stuff happened. Exactly. And I never went back to get the lesson. And now I'm a victim of my life. Oh, that sucks,
I mean, it's amazing that everything you've been through has set you up to this point. So it's amazing that you've come this far and then taken everything you've been through and turned it into this. I mean, it's something so special.
Yeah.
That's about the best answer you could possibly give, I think.
Fuck.
The interesting thing is that one of your sayings, I guess, or one of your taglines is FWOT.
Yeah, for what?
FWOT, which is... No, FWOT, FWOT.
Okay, explain this.
So FWOT stands for fuck what others think. Or
perfect, I love it.
If you want to talk to Channel 7, you say, forget what others think.
Yeah.
My 7-year-old says, Mommy, forget what others think. I'm like, yeah, forget.
And you know what? I've used that with my own kids because of the lessons that we've learned through you. I've used that with my kids because my kids are going, oh, well, somebody said this at school. And I'm like, well, FWOT.
Yeah.
What does Erika say? FWOT. The Queen of Confidence says FWOT. And they're like, what does that mean? I'm like, you know what? It's just fuck what others think. Just do it.
Fuck those people. No. But it's true. It's true. It's like we have to really it's I don't know. It's like, I think we want it to be easy, or we want to be special. And the reality is, no offense, but none of us is really that special. We all have moved through difficult things. Now, the detail, of course, the detail is the detail. But the reality is, we've all experienced a lack of confidence. We've all felt not worthy enough, male or female. We've all felt like we're not good looking enough, or smart enough, or have enough money, or whatever. We've all felt those experiences. And it's like, when you think about, actually, we all feel this way. How can I move out of that and not let that be my life and be my story? Because somebody, like, my book is being written. Somebody's writing your book right now. Is it your boss? Is it your mom? Is it your trauma? Is it your husband, your wife? Like, why don't you take the pen and you decide the next damn chapter? Like, I just said, I'm done. I'm done being a victim. I'm done feeling like a stupid Spanish girl. That was my whole, and I'm in Australia. I'm Puerto Rican. I've only met 2 Puerto Ricans in this country, and I've been here for 12 years. 2 Puerto Ricans. Just met her this year as well. I'm like, I've been the only Puerto Ricans. I had to make my own little half Sri Lankan, half Puerto Ricans, And so, like, my story was, I'm not white enough to be in this country. I'm not smart enough. Like, I'm a Spanish girl. I'm a ghetto. I wear nails, and I like, I'm not well spoken. I'm not educated. Australia's a rich country. I could use that story and not thrive, or I could go, I'm special. I'm different. I'm cool. I'm exciting. I'm fun. Some people here are boring. I get to be flavor. I get to just be like the chicken salt on the fries, whatever, the Nando's thing, I get to be spicy, and I get to be who I am. And when we start to look at our lives as it made us who we are, and instead of, like, because of the sexual abuse, I was abused, I became, my sexual abuse at 9 years old, I told my mom. That's when Erika became outspoken. So if it wasn't for that time, would I ever have spoken my voice? If I'm ever known for anything, is speaking. So I'm like, holy shit, I'm a great speaker because of that 9-year-old experience. Am I happy it happened? Hell no. But who did I become because of it? Holy shit, what a different question when you go, who did I become because of my mom's mental illness? Who did I become because of my divorce? Like, you became vigilant or resilient or strong or powerful or whatever, something positive. Yeah, there's negative, but if you only look at the negative, you don't get to claim who you became. And that's fucking important that we do that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think just as you said then, when you became outspoken, it's interesting because of your mother's illness, but you still had that open communication with her, which then, I guess, if you were to fast forward, a lot of what you have now is because you had that relationship with your mum where you could openly communicate.
Yes.
And in that moment, you became outspoken. And if that wasn't there, then what would have happened?
Oh my gosh. Well, now when I have my moms, because I coach a lot of moms, and I'm like, make sure you speak to your children. Because how many kids now, the peer group is running your kid, or the Switch, or Xbox Live. It's like, I say to my kids, if anybody touches you here, you tell me. Like, we have a family meeting every night, and they tell me everything. Even if it's bad, I'm like, okay, don't get angry about the bad thing your son did. Thank you for telling me, because I know that her telling me at 5 years old, tell me. A lot of people don't tell when they get sexually abused. My mom told me to tell her, and now I'm outspoken, and now I can teach my kids that. Like, just that alone can save my child from who knows what, that open communication.
Now, before we let you go, where does the love of pink come from? Because, like you were just saying, nails, and you can't see, but the wall behind her is pink. The signs are pink. The photos are pink. The books are pink. The vases are pink. The whole lot.
The water jug.
The water jug is pink.
So I hated pink because I hated feminine, girly, soft, bitchy, pussy stuff. Sorry to say that, but that's what I thought it was. I hated all of that because I was hard. I was hard because I went through hard stuff, and I don't have time to cry about any of the hard stuff I went through. Come on, just get on with it. So I had that energy going, and my husband was the softie who was gentle and sweet. And he came in with his softness and really pointed out how hard my wall was. And no one can get in when you have a wall of protection around your heart. Yes, you can't get hurt, but you also can't feel shit. Yeah. You can't feel connection. So I had to let the wall break and be open to people hurting me, but also be open to people to feeling things. And as I started to be softer with myself and be more open and not so angry and fiery and pissed off and taking shit personally, I started to evolve into this like hot pink, which is like hot pink, 20-year-old magenta, fake boobs and hair extensions, Erika. That was old me. And then I'm like blush soft pink, not too soft though, because I'm still a little bit loud and proud. Yeah. And the pink kind of came through. And the more I said I hate pink, then I was like, oh, I don't mind that pink. And then I was like, oh, and now I'm like, I love it. And to me, it really speaks to femininity. It speaks to heart. It speaks to women's bits. It speaks to confidence.
I was going to say something, but I'll let it go.
Yeah, man, we're inappropriate. This is all about inappropriateness, okay? Yeah. Your kids are learning a lot on this podcast episode, hopefully. No, but you know what I mean? So it was like, as I softened, I was able to be more with the woman, feminine, soft stuff, not so what I thought was masculine. Masculine is actually powerful. It's not what most women think masculine is. And so I softened, and I love it now. And, I have different shades of it, but I do love it because it just feels like it's bold enough, but still soft enough so you can come into it. And then we have our cheetah print. So yeah.
Love it.
Erika Cramer. All the links to everything are in the details of this podcast because there's a lot. But the one thing you got to do is find her on Instagram, the Queen of Confidence. And go and get the book as well, because the book is a fantastic read. Even if I do say so myself, my wife helped her. Yeah. Just for full disclosure,
shameless plug.
Just for full disclosure. But you are an amazing human, and I'm so glad that you could join us on the show and discuss your entire life so openly.
Wow. I thank you guys for the space. And I think that, it's my life, but it's also someone else's life, and it's also pieces of your life. And I think that when we hear stories from other people, I don't know about you, but for me, it really inspires me to go, I'm not the biggest and best story. There's Tony Robbins had a messed up story. Oprah Winfrey has a horrible story. There's a guy, Nick J, with no arms and no legs. I can't say his last name.
Yeah.
Like, what? So I look at these people. So here's the invitation if you're listening to this. Number one, don't shame yourself because you don't have my story. That's not cool, okay? It's like that. Let's not do that. Number two, if you think that you're messed up and broken and all of your stuff can't be dealt with, go look for evidence of people who have done that with a story like yours or worse. That's what I did. And when I saw what was possible, it just made me so excited to start to work on my story and start to shift my own narrative about who I was and who I could be. Because there's plenty of people with messed up lives that are killing it, doing good in the world and thriving. And then there's other people who are, poor me, life is doing this to me, who am I, poor me. And I'm like, who do you want to be? Like, you can't get shit done with poor me. It doesn't support you. So there's an opportunity, there's an invitation for all of us to look at our lives and find the lessons and learn from them and then pass that down to our family, to our kids, to our clients, to our employees. Like, it's incredible. So be grateful for the fucked up shit that happens to you, basically.
I love it.
And that's the pull quote to her next book.
That's it. That's what it's called.
Erika, thank you very much for your time.
Oh, thank you guys so much. Thank you for having me.
The Brown Podcast.
Why are you happy?
Because I don't want to